the shooting range. In this episode, pages of history, the story of the tanker ace Alexander Milyukov. Tactics and strategy, the arts of strategic bombing. And Metal Beasts, a new top British MBT. The last update introduced a new top vehicle to the British tech tree, the glorious Challenger 2 MBT. Sitting at battle rating 10.0, it's destined to engage the most dangerous vehicles in the game. But does it cut it? Let's see for ourselves. The UFP is basically two RHA plates with some nearer in between. Weak spots to be wary of are the areas around the driver's optics and near the gun breech. The lower frontal plate is only 70mm thick. The sides and the rear also don't have much in terms of protection, but the engine compartment can be damaged with even machine gun fire. The turret is a completely different story though. The frontal turret armor is very thick, consisting of 5 armor plates, a nearer one in the middle, and 2 RHA ones on either side. 3 layers of armor protect the sides, 2 layers the mantlet. But the rear side of the turret is very vulnerable again, with only 20mm of steel there. Due to the implementation of the quick-firing separate loading system, your ammo will be stored all over the vehicle. Bad news is that the most dangerous part of the ammo load, the propellant charges, is stored right next to your crew. Your main gun is a 120mm rifled cannon with good depression, from -10 to +20 degrees, and it has an operational stock of 50 rounds. The first order ammo takes 5 seconds to reload, the rest 6.5. The Challenger 2 has access to 4 types of rounds. Finally, the tank also comes equipped with 2 machine guns, smoke grenades, and an ESS. There are a few things to consider to use the new Challenger effectively. First, even though the engine is more powerful this time, you probably still won't be the first to claim key positions on the map. There's no rush for this, ladies and gentlemen, though. You will come at exactly the right time when the enemy positions have already been revealed, and there is minimum chance of nasty surprises. Second, while the armor on your hull won't break any records, the turret can take a lot of punishment. Yeah. If you expose your LFP, you'll be quickly sent to the heavens with a shot to the rack. But if you plan your advances and use natural cover to its full extent, the Challenger 2 turns into one tough opponent to get rid of. The main thing is never stay in one place for too long. That makes you an easy target for attack aircraft. Always plan ahead. Be on the move. Keep your hull under cover. Show only the front of your turret. Your excellent ammo and fast reload will take care of the rest. When war broke out, Alexander Milyukov, a great tank ace to be, was studying to become a pilot. One day, his U-2 training biplane was hit hard with a gust of wind upon landing. Milyukov managed to land anyway, but injured his head in the process, which made him unfit to become a pilot. After a few months in the hospital, he went straight to the front as a radio gunner on the KV-1, and soon had his baptism of fire near Bryansk. Their tank was stuck. One of its tracks got blown off. First, there were bullets bouncing off its armor. Then came first shells. The crew returned fire till the turret got stuck as well. As the day came to a close, the damaged tank was finally towed to safety. There were 17 shells lodged in its armor. That combat made Milyukov realize that the outcome of the battle is largely determined by the efforts of a driver. The very next time their unit was restructured, he made up a story, something along the lines of his documents being lost to a fire, to be able to switch to a driver's position. It didn't take him long to master the art of driving a tank, after he got his hands on the first T-34. Later, he wrote that his experience at a flight school was a real boon during that time. After flying an aircraft operating a tank was rather easy. But the most well-known fight he participated in happened much later, when he already was a tank commander during Kursk Battle in the summer of 1943. A Panther commander used a captured radio to send a signal to Milyukov's unit.
He wanted a duel 1-to-1.
Milyukov accepted. The T-34 came to the edge of the woods. The field ahead was carved by lots of small ravines, creating a good battlefield for an agile Soviet tank. But when it came to firepower or protection, the Panther was clearly the best of the two. Germans fired their first shot, a very close miss. Then it was all about the skill of the driver, split-second decisions, crazy swerves and dashes. Another German shell missed. The T-34 was getting closer, and its crew had to be even more careful. The next shell hit the ground right in front of their tank. The high-stakes dance continued, now with both parties constantly on the move. When the distance between them halved, the Panther started to back off. The German crew knew the dance well. They moved without creating a single opening, never exposing their sides or the rear. Time and time again, the Soviet gunner and loader were this close to making a shot, but the Panther kept swerving in and out of gun sights. Finally, Milyukov realized that there was a slight slope behind the German vehicle, a slope that Germans apparently hadn't noticed, meaning that the Panther would reveal its underbelly in a moment or two. Fire! And the German tank went up in flames. Then other guns started to go boom. The duel was over, and the Germans were coming in full force. Milyukov's tank had already crossed the killing zone, and the crew made full use of this advantage. In that fight, they destroyed 3 Tigers, and then crushed a few artillery guns, clearing the way for the Soviet counterattack. After the end of the war, Milyukov was awarded the title of a Hero of the Soviet Union. Later, he found himself in Odessa, where he found work at the Odessa Film Studio. Some of you might even recognize him as a writer for the 1983 film Ekipaj Mashiny Boyvoy, about the exploits of a Soviet tank crew. Proper strategic bombers only made their appearance during the Cold War. But there are still quite a few World War II-era heavy bombers that almost make the cut, so we'll be speaking about them as well. Here they come. The American B-17, B-24, and B-29. The German Heinkel 177A-5. The Soviet PE-8, Year 2 and Tu-4. The British Lincoln and Lancaster. The Japanese Shinzan and Renzan. And finally, the Italian P-108. The way these birds fly is pretty different from anything you experienced on other bombers. They feel sluggish, every maneuver takes considerable time to execute. The biggest strength of these flying fortresses is that their creators could go crazy on their destructive power, both in terms of their fearsome defensive armaments and the extensive bomb load. The biggest flaw, then, obviously, is their size, not to mention that a strategic bomber is always a priority target. And yeah, it has all those defenses, but it's still such a slow and big target. Oof. All those bombs you're carrying might make you think that you'd be able to destroy enemy ground vehicles en masse. That is possible, but these bombers were built with a different goal in mind. You should prioritize annihilating targets of strategic importance, bases and airfields. It doesn't really make sense to waste your bombs on small fry, especially considering that it takes a lot of skill and luck to hit a single target vehicle from your operational altitudes. Playing on a strategic bomber is all about staying calm and planning ahead. Climb right from the get-go. You should leave all those fighters and attack aircraft and their squabbles way beneath you and commence your mission. To destroy a base in a rank 4 match in RB, you need around 750 kilograms of explosive matter and around 13 tons of TNT to get rid of an airfield. That means that if you're using 500-pound bombs, you'll need at least 7 of those to deal with a single base, and around 110 of those to destroy an airfield. You can make all the calculations for your exact bomber and the bombs you're using before the match. Look for the info on the TNT mass on a stat card. Remember those numbers and bomb accordingly. By the way, there's no need to drop more bombs just in case. If a base has just a few health points left, it'll soon be consumed by fire anyway. Just be wary that you have to adapt to the ways different game modes work. For instance, in Enduring Confrontation in SB, airfields aren't just a single object, they consist of several modules. And in Arcade, strategic bombers aren't as effective as frontline bombers or jet bombers that have a much easier time dealing with enemy fighters. Well, that's all for today. Good luck with your devastating bombing runs. And we're moving on now to your questions. The first question comes from a player called the 1 millionth Roger. Where can I find the music used on War Thunder channel? Hi. It's licensed music that we specially buy for our videos, so the names of the tracks won't help you much if you want to listen to it at home. We're really happy to know that you like it, though. We'll keep using the best tracks for your best listening experience. Mark's Sand has a suggestion. The shooting range bloopers, please, behind the scenes. We'll consider this, no promises though. Some things that happen during production are, let's say, you sleep better without knowing about them. No, we're dead serious, but we'll consider this. The next question was sent by a user called Nico Bings. Can you land the plane on another plane? Hi mate. Well, aircraft in the game are properly modeled as physical objects, so yeah, you can do that. With some considerable damage to both aircraft, of course. But maybe that's one of the times where proper question isn't could we, but should we? Well, we warned you. Nicky Witz asks,
What is the thicker part of the cannon barrel in modern tanks, and what is it for? For example, on the Leopard 2A5.
Good day. Thanks for an interesting question. This thingy is called a bore evacuator of a fume extractor. It helps to remove propellant gases and combustion residues from the barrel after firing. The idea is pretty simple. A bore evacuator causes the gases to exit by making use of the pressure differential in the barrel after the shell leaves, preventing hazardous gases and residues from reaching the crew compartment. Then there's this message from Chronic Booty Snatcher. I like how Gaijin never answers the questions people are asking in, like, every video. Hi. As we stated on numerous occasions, we read all the comments you leave. All of them. With likes or without any. The earliest and the latest. All of them. Sadly, in most cases we can't answer questions starting with when, will you, or can you, before an official statement of the subject is released. We'll say this though, we work on many things you are writing about, and your feedback is crucial to our development process. Thanks. The Danish boy writes, what about climbing the ranks with planes? Will do. You'll see our first segment of this type in one of the next episodes. Well, that's it for today. You've been watching The Shooting Range by Gaijin Entertainment. If you would, come on, subscribe to the channel, press the bell button, leave a like, and tell us what you think in the comments below. Whether you celebrated the International Workers' Day or not, we hope you had a great time this week. See you in a bit.